Hello, I'm Daniel Van Kempen, Economic Development Officer with the town of Whitby, and I'm joined today with Jason Patterson. Jason Patterson is a job developer at the YMCA, Employment and Community Services, and he has a presentation to share with you today. Go ahead, Jason.
Thanks, Daniel. Just going to bring up my screen for everybody here. How's that looking?
That looks good, thanks.
Great. Well, thanks, Daniel, for the invite. Appreciate you inviting myself and YMCA to participate in this video series and learn more about the YMCA employment services. Hopefully your viewers will find the same value in this presentation. As mentioned, my name is Jason Patterson, work as a job developer for the YMCA. Been doing that for the last 10 years or so. Actually, April was my 10-year mark. So we have two centers in the Durham region. We have our Pickering location located at 1550 Kingston Road, and also our Whitby YMCA Employment and Community Center located at 3000 Garden Street. But Daniel, we have a total of 8 community employment centers across the GTA, everything ranging from the areas of Mississauga and as far east as what I've just mentioned, our Whitby location. We have regions, I should say centers in Etobicoke, Richmond Hill, a couple in Scarborough, 8 in total across the GTA, strategically positioned to help out all of our job seekers. So you might be asking yourself, who do we serve? Who do we serve? We serve a variety of people. We serve people looking for employment. So basically those looking for a job. We could have somebody who's looking for their first job. We could have a senior looking to supplement their income. We could have somebody coming back to the labor force. Maybe they were on maternity leave. They're looking to regain access to the employment world. Obviously unemployed, we serve unemployed individuals. Those job seekers are having kind of a tough time right now with the pandemic going on. Underemployed, we serve underemployed as well. Underemployed individuals are individuals who have higher skill sets than what their job demands. So at times they often come into our centers and look for jobs of more relevant nature in terms of their skill sets. And apprenticeships, Daniel, a lot of people don't know that we can provide a conduit to employers who are seeking to hire apprentices, and we can also provide job seekers with avenues of how to obtain apprenticeship. One thing that might be of interest to some of your viewers who do hire apprentices is that we also provide subsidies and apprenticeship training bonuses for those who are eligible in terms of training, hiring, and recruiting candidates from our programs. In addition to that, we also serve a variety of new Canadians that come to our Durham region, as you know, is growing in terms of immigration, and we do serve those immigrants, new Canadians. We help those individuals gain Canadian work experience in our localized economy. This not only helps them build the credibility to move on to another job, maybe a job of their passion or interest, but it also helps them gain a foothold in the Canadian culture. And I can tell you personally, as a job developer, I've placed many new Canadians in jobs where, you know, they built their careers based on that entry-level position, whether they be there 6 months or a year. They've moved on to another job because they built the credibility that most employers are seeking in today's job market. Internationally trained professionals are kind of in the same boat. They're coming to the YMCA because they're looking for resources, they're looking for information on how to become accredited in the Canadian economy. What credentials do they need? How can we help them gain a pathway to that? How can we help them find a job that is relevant to their back home studies or to their back home profession? And a big focus of the YMCA, one of our main focuses, is helping youth and students. YMCA believes not only building healthier communities start with jobs, but having youth in jobs, youth that can get jobs and leverage that experience to move on to the next level. Then they can contribute back to the economy or localized economy. So we're a big advocate of youth and students. And of course, of interest to probably a lot of your viewers today, is employers. And I'll be talking about that, some employer benefits, how we can add value to employers' places of work as we move forward through this slide deck. So Daniel, you might be asking yourself, your viewers might be asking yourself, what programs do we offer? I just mentioned a variety of different markets that we serve, and those different markets have different programs that would fit in place for different individuals. Our employment service program, basically that's kind of our baseline level program. Anyone from 16 to 68 years old could access this. Again, this is a program for individuals who are unemployed, seeking work, seeking a new job. They might be underemployed. The program itself provides the free access to our resources, to our staff, to our information. And there's also a component within this program that will help individuals who may be struggling a little bit more in the employment market, finding employment, by providing them with individual access to job developers like myself, a job skills specialist. Myself and the specialist can work in a team approach to help this individual gain employment where they may be having challenges, whether they've been laid off, whether they're an older worker, a newcomer, whatever the case may be. This program will provide that access and opportunities to help these individuals. And if we move far enough into it, finding them a job, there could be elements of subsidies that come into place to help them train and learn the role that's required of them. Again, as I mentioned, youth is a big component of our employment branches, and we have another program for youth, or we have a program for youth, two of them, which are called the Youth Job Connection and Youth Job Connection Summer. Youth Job Connection, a fabulous program for individuals between the ages of 15 and 29. They basically are put into workshops for 60 hours of paid training where they are paid. These individuals most likely have a higher level of barriers than regular youth. And because of that, these workshops provide them with social skills, employment skills that are relevant in today's market, which will help them advance into a job. Once the workshops are over, once the 60 hours are obtained by the youth are then set up with a job developer who will then try and align what they're looking for with a job in the local market where subsidy is provided to offset some of the training costs, but mostly to help the candidate learn the required role that the employer requires. Now, Daniel, I also mentioned that this program has another tangent to it. It's the Youth Connection Summer Job Program. And that's mostly for high school students between the ages of 15 and 18 who may be experiencing hardships or barriers to finding employment. That program also facilitates these individuals as well. Another great youth program is our Skills Development for Youth, acronym SDFY, we call it. This program provides 12 weeks of training, 4 weeks of pre-employment training, which is paid. We pay those individuals for attending the workshops. And then afterwards, once that's over, a job developer works with that individuals to connect them to a job of their interest. And again, great thing for the candidate, great thing for employers. We can provide subsidy, or there is subsidy in that program to offset some of the training costs for the candidates. YMCA is also big on gambling awareness for youth. Although there's no employer connections with this program, it's more of a offsetting the risks of youth and gambling. We want to mitigate youth, and we want to mitigate youth from gambling. So there are programs, and there is this program in place to mitigate that and to also create awareness about the risks associated and what can happen when you start gambling. Above all this, there's also what we call our Canadian Job Grant Program. COGI is the acronym for it, and it's kind of a hidden program. Not a lot of employers know about it, but it's quite lucrative in the sense that it provides up to $10,000 in eligible training costs. And this is a program where an employer can invest in their workforce. They only basically contribute a small amount to this type of training. and they can have a good crop of their employees, or one employee or 5 employees, how many it may be, as long as it meets the requirements, for them to train and for them to use the training as leverage within their workforces. Basically, they're investing in their workforces through the training opportunities available in this program. So Daniel, what are some of our services? What are some of those services that we can provide to our job seekers? And right now our centers are closed. All 8 centers are closed across the GTA. So we're working virtually. And astonishingly, we've been doing a great job doing everything virtually. So we will offer job search webinars. And I have an upcoming slide that'll show you some of our calendars and workshops that we offer. Again, we offer that one-to-one job search support. So an individual can work one-on-one with a job skills specialist who will help them devise a job strategy or a career path. Talking about careers, we also have career exploration. We have tests available. We have the job skills specialists available. We have the identification and gaps needs analysis to identify what careers individuals might be best suited for. And guidance on building an effective resume and cover letter. Not only do we have our workshops, but again, we have individuals that can work one-on-one with a job seeker to build a resume, to build a cover letter, and not only build it, but tailor market it so that it's dictated to the right market for a job seeker to market themselves best. Interview preparation. This is a really key component. A lot of people need practice interviews. A lot of people are coming back into the job market and haven't had an interview in 5 years, 10 years, 15 years. We can offer a practice interview. We can offer many practice interviews, as many as the client would like. And we will dictate that in practice interview based on what the client is looking for in terms of their job, but also the industry. So we will create those questions surrounding that and help the individual prepare for the interview, asking those questions, helping them build the confidence for that. And identification of appropriate training programs. So we will identify the training programs that might be required for individuals who are seeking certain types of industry accreditation or industry certifications. And then obviously access to employers, which I'm going to speak to about. We have access to employers through our natural market, but also through the hidden job market. A lot of the employers that we work with, Daniel, don't necessarily post on Indeed or Workopolis. They come specifically to YMCA because they know we have a great crop of candidates, and they don't need to post anywhere else. They can find relevant, decent, suitable candidates for their business at the YMCA. And that also extends, that hidden job market also extends to our candidates. So if we can limit the competition for our members, then we hopefully can provide them with the most probability of getting that job as well. Okay, so I did talk about the virtual workshops that we have. This is our May calendar. Whitby and Pickering work as one, so we provide all of our workshops on this calendar. This is a calendar that will change on a monthly basis. To the left of you, I guess on the right of your screen perhaps, but on the left of mine, we have our website there where a job seeker, depending on which area they are from, they could go to this link and look at the calendar that is being offered for that particular center. So an individual from the Richmond Hill area could go to this site and view the workshops that are available at Richmond Hill. Same with Etobicoke, Mississauga, Scarborough, Pickering, Whitby, etc. Some of the workshops, virtual workshops that we offer are resume critiques, how to build a winning resume. Individuals that are interested in second career, we have workshops on that. And again, this calendar will change and adjust on a monthly basis, but this just gives you an overview, Daniel, of what we're offering in May. Moving on here. So this is kind of the fun part. This is what I like talking about. I like talking about the employer services that we offer and how employers can work with a job developer, how they can work with the YMCA, what value adds we can do for them. So employer services, Basically we can help employers with the posting of job opportunities. And when the center was open, obviously we would post those on our job boards, but we can post those on our electronic boards, but we can also circulate those job opportunities, not only in-house, specifically say to Pickering and Pickering and Whitby, and cover the Durham region area with our 2 centers. But if an employer has other needs outside of the Durham region and they're trying to recruit from outside of the Durham region, well, we have connections with those other centers that we could introduce that posting to. Another great thing we do is organize and host virtual job fair events. Again, we used to do these in-house, very successful. We're doing them virtually. They're very successful as well. We're having tremendous success with them. If an employer is looking to hire a certain number of people in a certain period of time, this is a fabulous opportunity for them. And then access to human resources support. So a lot of times, especially new employers, will seek the services of YMCA to bounce questions off. What PPE do I need? What type of training do I need for my employees? Information they might need on wage or statistics or labor market information. We can kind of provide that support to them and act as their HR conduit for smaller businesses that may not have an HR department. The great thing about the program, or programs, YMCA in its whole, is that we have job developers. So job developers are the support that are providing employers with candidates. So basically the job developer builds relationships with employers to help them recruit and attract the candidate or the type of profile that they're looking for. So in my role doing this for 10 years, I've built numerous relationships with employers across the 10 years that I've been working at the YMCA. And anytime a hiring need comes up, maybe I have a candidate that's looking for a certain role, I can introduce that candidate to that employer. Employers are constantly following up with myself and my other colleagues as well, job developers, to try and recruit candidates and try and look for the best ideal sources of candidates to help them run their businesses. Another thing that job developers do is that when we work with an employer, if we can provide a subsidized opportunity, which we call a job placement, we will develop a training plan. Because we know our clients kind of better than the employer firsthand, we can develop a training plan that will outline the candidate's skill sets and hone in on those skill sets so that that candidate will perform the best in the role that they're being hired from. So we will work out with an employer to create those training plans, which basically, in essence, maximizes the employee's performance. And then again, I've talked about subsidized programs. Job developers are the conduit to those programs. So we will create a subsidy model based on the needs of the candidate, the requirements of the candidate, but also have that in line with what the employer is looking for in terms of the job itself and the roles and responsibilities. So we will craft not only the plan, but we will also craft a subsidy model that best aligns with the training opportunities for that individual. Hiring needs of employers. So across the board, it's interesting, over the last 10 years, you kind of start hearing the same thing. I've talked to my colleagues about this as well. Hiring needs of employers. So a lot of employers, they just want to hire skilled, but also localized candidates. Yes, they can hire outside of the Durham region, and they should be looking at candidates from across the board. Employers can't be geographically biased from one area to another. But what we hear from time and time again is that they will hire somebody from outside of the Durham region, great candidate, but unfortunately because of the commute, because of weather, because of traffic, the candidate ends up quitting or leaving the job in a short period of time. So the essence of what employers sometimes want, they want to find localized candidates. And again, our centers are strategically positioned for that within each community. Employers also want access to readily available pools of candidates, talent pools. They want to find candidates. They want candidates on demand. So Daniel, if you're a business owner and you've just had to terminate somebody, unfortunately, or somebody has quit, you may need somebody now. That recruiting process could take you upwards of 3 weeks. If you're working with a job developer, if you're working with YMCA, you can give me a quick call. I can take all the details of what you're providing me in terms of what you're looking for. And if I've got a candidate or candidates available who meet that match, and most times often I do have those candidates, then chances are you could be making a hiring decision in 2 days instead of 3 weeks. And again, hiring needs of employers, they want information about wages, they want information about programs, subsidy programs, industry standard, what PP&E is required. We're seen as, let's say, experts in the employment realm. We have this capacity to provide the information, the resources to employers for any questions they may need. And this a lot of times works best for new employers who are entering the Durham region, whether that be Pickering or Whitby, Ajax, Oshawa. They want information. A lot of times they may not know how to run a business. We can help new business owners with that, but we can also help current business owners with any questions that they may have. And it's interesting how much the economy has changed, how much the culture has changed, the workforce culture. Employers are looking to add diversity to their workforce. Durham region itself is transitioning into a very multicultural environment, which is fantastic. And because of this, employers are seeking more diversity to add to their workforces. So business solution offerings, let me clamp down on each one of those hiring need capacities. Well, we can offer local labor markets. Again, we are strategically positioned across the GTA to serve our immediate markets. Mississauga serves Mississauga, Peel. Whitby serves, Whitby, Oshawa. Scarborough will serve Scarborough. So chances are we're going to get those candidates coming in who are localized. Because of that, if we have local candidates, employers can then seek our services and access our talent pool for local labor markets. Reduced turnaround time. So I just spoke to you about the process that it may take you as an employer to hire the right candidate, from the time you put a posting up to the time you attract candidates, to the time you make calls, to the time you recruit, to the time you make a hiring decision. Again, that could be 3 weeks. If you're working with a job developer, most likely the job developer is going to understand your business needs because you have that relationship with the job developer. They're your partner in crime, so to speak. They can help you. They can access their talent pools. They can access their internal talent pools, and if need be, can go outside of that to some of the other YMCAs to try and find that candidate for you, quickly reducing your hiring turnaround times. Although not statistically proven, I like to think that the YMCA, and more specifically job developers, can help decrease employee turnover. And what I mean by that, Danielle, is that, listen, we don't live in a perfect world. Sometimes there's challenges that come up. Sometimes, your employee will show up late. Sometimes they might not be as punctual as they should be. Maybe there's some attendance issues. Well, if we're working with an employer's place of work and we've placed a candidate in there, my ultimate goal is to make sure that that employer's business is running smoothly with the candidate or candidates that we've provided. And yes, if those hiccups come up, let's have a conversation about that. Maybe because I have the relationship with my client, I can speak to them a little bit better. Maybe I can offer some additional partnership. If it's not a win for you and your business, and it's not a win for the client, then it's not a win for the YMCA. I'd rather see a win-win-win situation than have things go off of the track. So if we can kind of get back on the tracks and help that candidate reestablish a foothold within the business, then that limits the time the employer now has to recruit for a new candidate. And then cost savings, intangible and tangible cost savings. Tangible cost savings, hey, we can provide those training subsidies to offset the training costs for the employer. The employer can then spend more time in their business, focusing on their business. We can also offer the job postings free of charge, job fairs free of charge, and just the peace of mind of all of this. Huge cost savings involved all the way around. And then again, enhancement of workplace diversity and culture. YMCA is very diverse. YMCA is very open. We're very inclusive. And I think because of that, Danielle, a lot of people seek the services of YMCA. They feel comfortable. They feel it's a safe place. Because of that, we can then provide that pool of candidates to employers to recruit from, which is great all around. It's great for the candidates, and it's great for the culture of the business that's doing the hiring to enhance their workplace diversity. Again, I talked about some of this, but just to highlight the benefits again. So we can help with recruiting and attracting the most suitable candidates for employers. We can host, plan, and market job fairs, which is we can dictate those job fairs exclusively to the employer brand and exclusively to the employer's hiring needs. And if I can just plug in here, we are having a massive virtual job fair event on June 9th from 11 to 3. There is still room for employers should they want to register for this GTA-wide job fair. My contact details would be at the end. I'd be happy to help them out with that. Free of charge, 50 booths, over 3,000 job seekers, tremendous opportunity for employers to recruit not only across the GTA, but because it is a GTA-wide job fair, there will be candidates from the Durham region as well. I have talked about free job postings for quick candidate matching. So that goes in line with job developers, helping employers create those postings, putting those postings up and sending them out to our local colleagues to help with the matching of candidates based on the job posting. And then wage subsidies. Again, they reduce labor costs during the training period, which allow the employer to either take time away from their business and focus in other areas, or take time away from their business and focus on training the candidate because there are some subsidies involved. So that's kind of basically it here, Danielle. My contact information is all right there, email and telephone number. And then if employers happen to be looking at this presentation and they're from outside the region, well, they can certainly go to our website and find their local contact information at the region of choice. And again, we have everything on there that I mostly just talked about, including those webinars, workshops. A lot of this information about our programs should be able to find on there as well. So I would encourage any of your viewers, employers, or job seekers to reach out to myself or any of our staff through that website.
Great. That sounds great, Jason. You have your contact information here. You've provided a lot of detail about the resources that are available for both residents and for business owners. If you're unemployed, underemployed, seeking employment, this is a resource that you should be checking out, especially also for employers. Canada Ontario Job Grant, $10,000 in training costs are available. That will offset some of the costs to you as an employer. All very helpful and beneficial for both residents and business owners. So thank you very much, Jason. And
thank you,
have a great day. Bye.
You too. Thanks so much. Appreciate it. Take care.